In this go for a punch world in which we live, where we spend our days with SpongeBob SquarePants and our nights strolling London after midnight, you may think you've heard of everything we've yet to find. But there is more unknown in this world than you could possibly imagine. This is lesser-known lost media.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, here with Volume 12 of Lesser Known Lost Media, Viewer Edition. Several of you have commented on the videos requesting various pieces of lost media to be covered, and here are 5 of them. As always, we are starting with 4 pieces of safe for work lost media, and then we will be ending with a less safe for work piece. Be sure to leave your lost media suggestions in the comments so that they might show up in a later video. And with that being said, let's get into our first entry. At number 1, we have F-Zero GP Legend, specifically referring to the lost unaired episodes of the 4Kids English dub of the anime based on the game franchise. Now, I've never played an F-Zero game, though I do often play as Captain Falcon in Super Smash Bros. But the anime, originally known as F-Zero Falcon Densetsu in Japan, was an anime series that premiered on October 7th of 2003 on TV Tokyo and ended its run on September 28th of 2004, lasting a total of 51 episodes. The plot revolved around a character named Ryu Suzaku, aka Rick Wheeler in the dub, who after suffering an injury at work was placed in cryogenic freeze until a cure for his injuries could be found. This wasn't found until 150 years later, now taking place in the year 2201, and he is recruited by the secret galactic police with the intent of stopping corruption within the F-Zero races. This anime would eventually be dubbed for an American audience by 4Kids Entertainment and aired on the Fox block of later renamed 4Kids TV on September 4th, 2004, in order to coincide with the release of the game with the same name releasing into the US. However, it was a ratings disaster at the time, and it was dropped after only 15 of the original 51 episodes were aired. It is unknown how many additional episodes were dubbed. Also, just an interesting note, the failure of this show in a US market later drastically affected how Nintendo went about marketing their properties for an American audience. But yes, it is unknown how many episodes were dubbed and have never seen the light of day.
Qualcomm Punch!
At number 2, we have El Apostol, which translates to The Apostle, which is a 1917 lost Argentine animated film using cutout animation. Historically considered to be the world's first animated feature film, it was a political satire concerning the, at the time, Argentine president Hipólito Yrigoyen. It was well received but not widely distributed, and unfortunately is thought to have been destroyed in a 1926 fire in the director's studio. At number 3, we have Love's Labour's Won, a lost or possibly alternatively named Shakespeare play whose existence is unconfirmed, which would be pre-1598. The first reference to this play was made in Francis Mere's Palladis Tamia, known as Wit's Treasury, a historically relevant text as the first known critical account of Shakespeare's early work. The play listed here is Love's Labour's Won, which sounds like a play on the title of another Shakespeare play, Love's Labour's Lost. Now, scholars aren't definitely determined what Meres is noting in this reference, but there are 2 widely supported theories. Either the play is a lost sequel to Love's Labour's Lost, or it is simply a different name attributed to an existing Shakespeare play. Some of these alternate name theories have been attributed to either Much Ado About Nothing, Troilus and Cressida, or As You Like It. But honestly, we just don't know. There could be a lost Shakespeare play out there, but maybe there isn't. At number 4, we have Twinkle Stars Volume 11, a lost first edition English translation of the final volume of the manga series. Existence is unconfirmed, circa 2013. So Twinkle Stars is a manga that was serialized in Japan magazine Hana to Yume from 2007 to 2011. The whole series was compiled into 11 tankobon volumes in Japan from 2008 to 2011. It was written and illustrated by Natsuki Takaya of Fruits Basket fame. For several years, an official English translation of the series was difficult to access in English-speaking countries outside of Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand, as the only official translation in existence was from the Singapore-based manga publisher Chong Yi, and it was distributed in Australia and New Zealand by Madman Entertainment. Changyi is most famous for distributing the first official English translations of the Pokemon Adventure manga, but it ceased operations by early 2014. But from 2011 to 2013, Changyi translated at least 10 of the 11 volumes of Twinkle Stars, though apparently volumes 1 and 6 were a little bit rarer than some of the others. But it is unclear whether they ever actually got around to translating the final volume, Volume 11, at all. Currently, no known copies of this volume from Changyi are known to exist, though if it did, it possibly would have been a limited release as the translation would have been performed near the end of the company's lifespan. Fortunately, if you are a non-native Japanese speaker/reader and require your manga to be translated, well, then good for you. The entire Twinkle Star story was later translated and subsequently published by Yen Press from 2016 to 2018 in a 5 omnibus volume style. So this story, the media itself is not lost, just perhaps this particular instance of it. I hope you're enjoying this viewer edition of Lesser Known Lost Media. It means so much to me how many of you have come to the channel specifically for this series. Please be sure to leave comments about your own favorite pieces of Lesser Known Lost Media in the comments, as it really does help support this channel and satisfy the algorithm gods. If you would like other ways to support this channel, please be sure to check out my links in the descriptions to both my minis and my Patreon. And now without further ado, let's get into the final Not Safe for Life piece of fan-suggested Lost Media. At number 5, we have Angelo Orsi's photos of Ayrton Senna, lost photos of Formula One driver post-crash in 1994. On May 1st of 1994, Formula One driver Ayrton Senna crashed into an unprotected concrete barrier at the Tubarello corner at the Autodromo Enzo de Dino Ferrari during the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. The impact resulted in Senna's death in hospital a few hours later. Post-crash, photographer Angelo Orsi appeared on the scene and took photos of Senna in the car and after his helmet was taken off. These photos have never been released to the public. So the corner that he hit, he crashed into the concrete barrier at 130 miles per hour, suffering a multitude of injuries. The front wheel entered the cockpit and struck the right frontal area of his helmet, the impact of which caused his head to be forced back onto the headrest, causing skull fractures. A piece of the wheel's suspension also detached and penetrated the helmet, causing fatal head trauma. Just one of these injuries alone would have been enough to kill him. As Senna laid motionless in his car, Angelo Orsi, the only known cameraman already situated at this particular part of the race when the accident occurred, leaped over the wall opposite the corner and arrived to the scene of the crash. He was the picture editor of the Italian racing magazine Autosprint and a close friend of Senna. According to The Life of Senna, a book, Orsi took close-up photos of Senna while he was motionless in the destroyed car. Photos were also taken of Senna after his helmet was removed, and when he was being treated by medical personnel on the ground. The photos were extremely graphic in nature when considered that Senna lost 4.5 liters of blood following him suffering a burst temporal artery, which caused blood to soak from the car and onto the track. At 6:40 p.m., Senna was officially declared dead. Around midnight, Orsi returned to Autosprint's developing room to analyze the photos, where he was confident the photos were unlikely to be published in any magazine. Brazilian commentator for the Grand Prix, Galvão Bueno, who was also a close personal friend of Senna, had watched Orsi take the photos live on air. He claimed that Orsi aimed and shot without even seeing exactly what he was getting. He was also the one to inform the Senna family of the photos' existence. Family members, as well as Senna's girlfriend, Adrian Kelman Galitztu, I'm sure I got that one wrong, are known to have been the only people to have seen the pictures. Consequently, representatives of the Senna family immediately requested Orsi never allow anyone else to view the photos, with Orsi respecting their wishes to this day. Now, while graphic photos of this accident are publicly available to view, Orsi's collection have remained withheld from the public as of the present day. According to The Life of Senna, they are likely within a safe within Autosprint's office. Orsi and Autosprint are known to have been offered large financial offers, at least more than $100,000, for the rights of the photos. Bueno, who greatly respected Orsi for his decision not to release the photos, stated that some agencies were among those who offered money for the photos, but ultimately all of these offers were rejected by Orsi with the support of Autosprint's higher-ups. Thus the photos are unlikely to ever see the light of day. According to another source, at least one photo is known to be permanently irrecoverable, depicting Senna without his helmet. It is known that Autosprint director Carlo Cavici received a call from Orsi requesting its destruction. Cavici respected the decision, and thus the photograph is no longer known to exist. Whether the other photos ultimately suffered the same fate is unknown. Now, I'm sure there are people out there that would criticize this photographer from, leaping over a wall to take photos of this crash, especially if the guy was his friend, but I'll be honest, if I was a photographer and I was watching my friend race, and I saw him crash right in front of me, well, first, my instinct would be to leap the fence to go help him, but I'm a photographer. I'm not a medical practitioner. I wouldn't know what to do. I think I would kind of go into shock and just go on autopilot and do the only thing I knew how to. I mean, that's pretty much kind of what the commentator said it looked like he was doing. He wasn't even really aiming up the shots. He was just taking photos. And ultimately, I do respect him. I don't blame him for taking the photos. Whatever his reasoning was, I mean, that was ultimately what he was there to do. But I definitely commend him for respecting the family's wishes to never release them. I personally think that even had they not given him that request, he probably would have made that decision himself, because he was this man's friend. And the photos were the result, in my opinion, of him reacting to seeing this horrible thing happen to someone he cared about. What else do you do as a photographer, as a journalist, but, take pictures or report? I don't know, guys. Racing seems absolutely terrifying to me. I don't even like speeding. I can't imagine driving as fast as these guys do in these races. And that's our video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to everybody who suggested one of the pieces that I covered in this video. Please be sure to leave your favorite piece of lesser-known lost media in the comments so that we can include it in a future video. And until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean, this is Chimera Miniatures, and I hope you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!